Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at the graph spring properties here. When we go down here, we've got three different types we're going to be looking at. The first one's going to be our settings options. In the setting options, what we have on the left side over here, we've got a enter and exit for a bend amount. If you increase it, you'll notice it applies more force to it as it springs back. This is going to be how much is applied on the enter, and then there's one on how much is applied on the exit. Usually you just want to blend that to based on the amount of speed your character may or may not be traveling. Along with this, you can also say how much is the spring constant, meaning if I increase it, it becomes more of a jiggle, so it actually bounces back and forth a couple of times, versus if I take it down to a lower amount, the spring is really stiff, so it's just going to kind of bounce once and then go back. Dampening is going to be based on how much is actually going to stop the spring amount. So for instance, if I have a higher spring amount, but then I start to lower my dampening, that means that the spring is actually going to continue going and going. So what I want to do is make sure the dampening is going to make sure it stops. If you have too high of a level for dampening, what you may notice on the spring is that it's going to have a little bit of a stick to it right on this one. So you can find a nice blend between it. You can make it so that you can have a higher spring if you want it to be a little bit more of a liveliness as you actually enter or exit the object for it. Along with that, you're going to have an option for apply the extra force on enter. This means that for the player, you can have it so that the player can walk into it, but it's actually intended for a jump. So if the player jumps down onto it, well, the force would be downward, but what you want to be able to do is say that apply another force left and right. That way the player looks like he enters into it and it shakes around. Along with that, we have a horizontal spring direction and a vertical spring direction. So you can actually have it bouncing up and down instead of going left and right. And it'll be applied the same way in that if you enter it, it's going to be bouncing upward and downward that way. Alright, so along with that, let me just take a quick look with some of these changed on the properties. We'll just go out and push play so you can see it bouncing that direction. And then with those, the one thing to keep in mind is that the enter and the exit state, those are actually just designed as part of the trigger system, so that if you actually say you want it to just be enter only and not exit, then you can have it that way, or if you want exit only. So when I go now, it bounces up and down. There you go. So just kind of a nice little approach to it. We'll take a look at next video. We're going to walk through setting up the different ways that the movement can actually occur.